very good evening to you, and thank you so much for staying tuned to Y254 TV. I hope you've had a lovely evening today. And we are coming to you live for the Power Talk Show. I am your host, Cheryl Blessing. As usual, we're here for another interesting conversation because there is so much that's been happening all around us. And I feel like one of the things that we really have been talking about or fixating on recently are relationships, particularly the ending of relationships. We've seen so many long-term relationships, so many people who we thought were the ideal people who were together, unfortunately break up and separate. And now there is a shift in the way we approach relationships, the way we approach situations. And today we want to have a conversation on exclusivity versus open relationships. Which ones are the more sustainable ones? Which ones make sense for the future that we're walking into? That is the conversation I want us to have tonight on the Power Talk Show. We're talking about open relationships versus exclusive relationships. And I'm joined by two amazing guests on set who are going to enlighten us. I first have Jesus, who is a content creator. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much
How
for having
doing?
me. I'm doing very well. How are you?
I'm good.
And I must say you are looking very nice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Ni Mungu.
Hey, we thank God.
Yeah, we thank God.
Yeah.
And next to Jesus, we have Fabio Wanjohi, who is a journalist. And this is not the first time we've had Fabio. Jesus, it's your first time,
It's my first time.
Yeah, but Fabio amekuwa hapa before. Karibu tena. How are you feeling?
Elated as usual.
Yeah.
I must say the fit is a check.
Thank you. Gosh, guys, mtafanya nishindo kupumua leo. How will I handle the conversation?
Pay flowers.
Sindio?
Yeah, lazima. Kama
asante.
something is good,
lazima
isemwe. Hakuna
Period.
kuweka kwa roho.
I love
Unaitoa.
that.
Yeah.
And I love that because that's also a concept of nimekuwa naona recently when it comes to relationships. There's no point of procrastinating or not being honest or not being vulnerable. Afadhali useme leo kama unapenda mademu watatu, sema tu leo tukae tukijua unapenda mademu watatu. You know, so that's the thing I want us to talk about tonight, being honest, being very vulnerable in your relationships and building different types of relationships. What do you think works? Unafikira gani na bamba? Open relationship and it's you and a few other people, you can be in it together, or a relationship that's exclusive. It's you, your man, you and your woman, no one else. Na nyinyi tu wawili. I want us to get into this conversation with you as well and let me know by going to our platforms at Y254. Tell me, would you be in an open relationship? Is it something that you'd consider? Would you ever get into a relationship and say, it's fine, let's keep it open, we can date other people, we can see other people? Would you be in an open relationship? And do you think it's sustainable? Is it something that works? Is it something that we can see working for our generation in the future? Is an open relationship sustainable? Is an open relationship something that will get rid of infidelity and cheating and all this other drama that we see in this day and time when it comes to relationships? That's something I want to hear from you as we progress with this conversation. So just to kickstart, let me take it over to, let me start with the lady. Let me start with the Jesus. And I just want to know, what do you think, when you think about a relationship, what's the ideal kind of relationship that you want to be in long term? Okay,
when you talk about relationship, as our topic today, about whether exclusive or open relationship, I could say it varies for different people. When you talk about exclusive relationship, kuna obvious it's pros and cons. And when you talk about open relationship, hiyo iko na pros and cons. So at the end of it all, ni which one is ideal for you, which one can work for you, because what can work for one cannot work for the other.
So you basically think ni watu kwa relationship ndo wanaamua.
Hao ndio wanaamua, nyinyi wawili ndio mnaamua either you want it to be open ama exclusive.
Yes. I like that because it's very personal. You know, every relationship is different because every person is different.
Yes.
We are all completely characters zetu, personality, what we like, what we want. It's all very different. But the one thing that we've been hearing common, put it over to Fabio. We've been hearing that men are naturally polygamist. That's something that I've come across. It's a concept I've come across, people talking about, men naturally wanapenda mademu wengi, men naturally wako hivi. Do you think it's a fact? Do you think men cannot be in a monogamous relationship? Or is it scientifically? Do you think you guys are wired to be with multiple people?
I think it depends on the person himself, or as a man, what is your personal value system? Like someone might choose to be monogamous, not because it's the in thing or something, but it's because that he has found value in maybe a certain woman, or what he sees in that relationship, what value is there in that relationship. That's why I tend to disagree that men are polygamous and things like those. Also depends on your culture, and also things that you rank, like the value system, like I said, like what you rank. As a human being, I believe you're supposed to be disciplined enough to know that I wouldn't say you choose monogamy because it's, as a Christian, that's the foundation of Christianity, right? Like one man, one woman, right? Yeah. I think that's my take on exclusivity versus open relationship, and also I think to some extent open relationships sometimes might spark a lot of drama, and depending on how the woman reasons. Women reason emotionally, but men reason logically. This is something maybe you might not agree with, but it's the truth of the matter. As a man, I reason with logic. I know if, like, let's say I allow another person to come in between my relationship with my better half or my partner, I believe that would spark a lot of hatred, jealousy, and things like those. Yeah.
I like that. So again, your take is it's also again personal, because there are men who can choose to be with one woman and live a perfectly healthy life and be okay, but then there are men who like multiple people, and that's also sustainable for them.
Yes, it depends also on you as a person. Do you have the capacity to mental capacity to withhold or sustain the pressure that comes with this open relationship? When you have like two or three partners. Then also I feel like, okay, one of the cons of open relationship is it spreads a lot of diseases here and there. We might not know where, you might not even be able to trace the problem where it is. Like recently there was a case, like in Nairobi, there's like a lot of, it's called super gonorrhea these days, right?
Yeah.
And it's so unbelievable how the rate is going high, and how even the rate of HIV and AIDS and even assorted diseases are spreading due to this kind of lifestyle that we choose to live as individuals, even as partners.
I really like that. But now, let me challenge that. Because in our modern times, we'll talk about the Christianity. That was very good. Because with the Christianity, we are taught one man, one woman. But then we also have the Islam community within our communities. And realistically, the Islam community tells you you can have up to 4 wives, as long as you take care of each of them equally. And then if we go even deeper, in our African roots, our fathers, our forefathers, grandfathers, they used to have multiple wives, and they could take care of the wives. But then there was a need. You know, to some extent, I think we have to separate between the need and the want. Because in an open relationship, you're squeezy. Let's say both of you come together, you agree, you can date other people, I can date other people, but we are together. So when I think about it traditionally, there were our forefathers who used to do that because they're looking for more children. Maybe they're looking for some connection, you know, with a different community. You're trying to have some intermarriage between different communities to get you together. But, hey sis, the women in the past used to accept that. And the women in the past realistically used to work together to build the homestead. Because the fathers, this is my understanding of traditional African societies. The husband will get a wife, bring the wife, create a homestead, create a place where you can all do you live together, you work together, and the kids were all raised together. The wives all cooked together, or you already have your plan. So the women back then would coordinate. And what you're saying, as based on what you've also said, women can be emotional. Let's not even get into the topic of the men being emotional about other relationships, because I think we'll dive deeper into that. But women used to accept, it used to be an acceptable thing, and today it's still acceptable in different communities. So why do you think, Casey, why do you think, yes, we had Christianity that came in, but why do you think the women today are still fixated? Because some women will say, I want one person to myself, I want my husband to myself, I don't want to share my husband with anyone else. Why do you think we are like that when truly our culture is rooted in polygamy?
Okay, let me first of all talk about whether men are polygamous or monogamous. For me, where I stand is men are polygamous. Hata wakiulizwa, if they want to have multiple, they would say yes, because that is in them. Ni venye tu, like, you have discipline, ama for Christian, you only supposed to have one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, they are doing that, but kwa ground, wakona wengine huku wameficha ficha.
So basically Fabi anasafisha rada.
Anasafisha kabisa.
Asema tu kweli.
Asema tu kweli. Men are polygamous in nature. That one we cannot refute about it. So when we talk about how it worked with our grandpas and all that, is that sasa unajua, like, for our grandfathers, they were serious and they were committed. Ukichukua huyu mwanamke unamleta kwako, and kuna commitment. Ukileta mwingine pia, huyu mwingine anajua na kuna commitment, and they used to stay in. It's one homestead. Mmoja amejengewa hapa, the other one hapo, the other one hapo. So this man is taking care of all the family. Lakini today, hey, today is a different story. You'll find a man, yes, akona huyu, na akona huyu, but he will neglect his first family to go to the other one. And because, then again, if you don't have the finances to support all these, then it's going to be hard.
Yeah.
That's why you'll find that men are wanatolokea responsibility, but then again anataka kuwa na huyu, but they cannot sustain it because the money, the finances hairuhusu. But if they were asked to, if they had the money, they would do it. Most of them, yes.
Yeah. So in your opinion, you feel like men are polygamous naturally.
Yeah.
But the finances are the things that sometimes make men not be there fully and not be able to sustain.
Yeah.
But what's nipatie Fabio, because najua Fabio alikuwa amewashwa hapo tukisema ati wanaume wanataka watu wengi. Let's realistically say that you're in a situation where you can afford to have multiple women, and these women are in agreement that you can have other women. If you were in a situation like that, would you prefer to be in an exclusive relationship with one partner, or would you take the option of, I can have these multiple people and I can take care of all of them and they all know and agree? What will your choice be? Okay,
for me personally, I think I'd stick to, one partner, because with one partner comes great accountability and responsibility. First of all, when you're two together, you can be able to decide on where do we want to go as a team, as a family, or as a relationship together. What are we focusing on building? But when you are diverse, okay, it's good to have a taste of different cultures and things. It's good to incorporate. I'm not saying it's bad to have an exclusive, an open relationship, but it's good to also have a taste of different perspective, ideas, ambitions, see what people are like. It's good to create that diversification. But in the sense that you're building a relationship with people, I prefer you choose that one partner who you can stick with, who you can support each other and build something together from the ground upward.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that. And I think that's also going to take me to what I want to ask next. But let me take it back to the resources, because there we are talking about basically building something. Because when I'm thinking about an open relationship, let's say in the context of where you want to settle with someone, you're thinking about building probably generational wealth. You're building a legacy together. So in your opinion, you feel like it's better for you to do that with one person. But then we've seen a reality where people can do it with multiple people and make it work as long as everyone is in agreement. But then you've presented a very important thing, Jesus, when you talked about the finances. Because people do not understand, men and women do not understand that relationships cannot function without finances, without guidance.
True.
And the women sometimes give direction to the men. We're not saying the men do not have direction, but the women can help grow your wealth. Sindio? So why do you think, because in the past we've seen it, I think I've seen, when I think about the river in between and Akoko and, you know, the clan, they seem like they were thriving. You know, everyone was working together, there was coordination, there wasn't a war between Bibi wa Kwanza, Bibi wa Tatu. These days, realistically, Hayes, even if a woman hears another woman is talking to her boyfriend, it's war. I'm coming to you as a woman. You know, there is just a lot that goes on. So why do you think that is? Because even in the dating scene, women treat each other as rivals when it comes to looking for men and trying to find a husband and a prospect of dating. We treat each other as rivals. Why do you think the change has been there, where right now we're competing against each other to find someone or to be in a relationship?
Okay, I could say, like, for now, women are very empowered. So what a man can do, a woman can do. We can see that hata wanawake wanaenda job na wanafanya kazi yake, anafanya kazi yake. It's not like kitambo where like the man used to be the primary provider. Wanawake ni the homestead, to take care of the homestead, but the man used to take care of them. The women were not empowered. So when we come to today, wakati women are empowered, haizi taki ku stand like the man akona another person, because ako like, what am I lacking? I'm also empowered. What do you mean? Whatever you're doing, I can also do. So I cannot stand you having another woman. Maybe, let's say, if a man is very, 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 very rich, the women have no problem with that. But if a man is struggling, ama bado anatafuta hapa, the woman has a problem with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like that you've also said that, because we've seen so many instances of people who are wealthy, when they cheat, it's like,
yeah,
ni sawa,
okay.
he can afford.
Yeah.
But if it's like a broke man,
it's a taboo. An error.
Hey, makosa imefanyika.
Yeah.
And even sometimes we look at the status. We'll idolize some people.
Yes.
It's like right now, to scare Rihanna has been cheated on. Aje sasa.
Like how?
You know,
Yeah.
but then we've normalized this for certain people. And there's that aspect of the classes. We have the class system also when it comes to that. Because even a woman will be more willing to accept polygamy from a wealthy man than from a broke man who comes and tells her, by the way, situshi pamoja niko na 2-bedroom. Nini, a woman will be like, no. But then we are more accommodating to people who are not financially, who are financially secure and financially free. But then, Fabio, you also brought up an interesting aspect of, you talked about the value of being in an exclusive relationship is you build each other, you build together. Siku hizi watu wataki kubuild together. Watu wanataka jenga, mimi nikuje nipate umejenga, niingie kwa nyumba nikusaidie kufurnish. So let's talk about instances like that, because as much as the dating scene has changed, the people in the game have also changed. The women are different, the men are different, and there's all this, we have different schools of thoughts. So let's say you've met a woman who's good for you, and you're already trying to build together, or, you know, doing something over, mnajijenga, mnajiendeleza. But then she's of the thought that she wants to keep the options open, or she wants you to keep the options open, because she feels like you can still do that and build whatever you're building.
See, Blessing, you cannot have your cake and eat it.
Yeah.
It's that proverb, I think whoever made it made sense, like made a lot of sense. You cannot say you are trying to keep your options open and at the same time come here in case this one fails, you have a backup plan, plan B. Things don't work like that. When, like, let's say I decide to settle with someone, I don't say because I have Nani and Nani as my plan B, if this one disappoints, I can go down to plan B and C. You see, when you're going for something, like when you're reaching out for something like a goal, you go directly to it. You don't cut through the corners. You hit the nail on the head. If it's this person, build with this person, because I feel like the more you engage each other and build each other, you're able to get a foundation and even understand the person more. But if this person is like this person is lukewarm, and I think the Bible warns about being lukewarm. You're neither hot nor cold. You're in between, and there's no in between there. In relationships, it's either you're in or you're out. So if it's in, you stay with the relationship, and if you're out, you stay single and celibate, right?
Yeah.
Which is acceptable also. But the narrative of you coming, trying to look for plan Bs and Cs in the midst of this shows that you're not serious with what you're doing.
Pursuing. So it's like your plan A is not 100% guaranteed.
You're not believing on your plan A. You see, like if I was to settle down with, let's say, my sister, I'll go to her and tell her, I've seen that this and this personality. Would you mind settling down with me, or do you mind us being, boyfriend and girlfriend? Then in that period of courtship or dating, we can be able to establish each other. Are we compatible? Are we not compatible? If you're not compatible, I come and tell you, excuse me, madam, I'm seeing like we are heading astray, and I wouldn't want that. So let me just let you go. You go your way, I go my own way.
I like that. Let me hold it right there, because I like that you've said that. I want us to circle back with that and get deeper into that, because when you're tuna date squeezy, kwa ground kuko tofauti, si ndio? So I really like what we've started on, but I want us to continue with this conversation right after we take a short break. But I want to hear from you. Tell me, between an exclusive relationship and an open relationship, which one do you think is more sustainable? Enye ni nyinyi tu wawili, hiyo ndo unafikiri itawaka, ama enye you've kept it open and you can be with other people? Which relationship do you think is more sustainable? Go on our platforms at Y254 and we will sample your comments when we come back from the break. So stay tuned. We'll see you very shortly.